up on Biltmore Estate. They would come in this shop and they would come crank this blower fan while the master was working, and they were waiting for the horse team to get hitched up to their school bus to take them into school down in Biltmore Village. So this was definitely, you know, the community gathering place that time of year.
Of course, it was so dang hot.
Yeah. A lot of different things that I find myself making where it starts out with the making of a nail. So this right here is basically me making a nail by stretching this chunk of steel, just pulling this out to a nail point. So we're going to pull it out another maybe 3/4 of an inch in length and down to a real thin taper. And then it's going to be ready to actually make into the finished product once we get it there. Notice I switched over to a different pair of tongs when I cut that leaf. Every pair of tongs in this shop is, of course, for one very unique project, specific item. And sometimes there are tongs that I've made and I used them one time and haven't used them since, years later. I'm sure the blacksmiths 100 years ago had the same experience. Some of these tongs I've never used in the 8.5 years I've been here, and I'm not sure they've been used for 70, 80 years. But the guy that made them clearly needed them that one time, and maybe multiple times.
Including these?
I'm sorry, what?
Including these?
Yeah, those ones are pretty unique right there too. I guess Doc figured those were best served to lock the door rather than blacksmith with. That's been the door lock since I've been around.
Well, judging by the end of it, it looks like it was made to form something up here. It must have been made to form something which had a round shape, because there's a circular indentation on either end of
It is a really unique pair, isn't it? I've never seen a pair quite like that one. It's true. Maybe one day I'll need it for a project and I'll be thankful it's there. You know?
Maybe it was for like a ball bearing of some kind, or
yeah, you could be right.
A wagon hitch or a pin or something.
Yeah. That's why some jobs take quite a time to get finished, because you might spend half a day making your tools or a couple days making your tools before you even start the actual project.
"26 minutes so far, by the way. That's how long I've been recording for."
You said 26?
Yes.
All right.
So you know how to make these fast, I'll say that.
I used to tell people this takes about 30 minutes to make one of these leaf keychains, so that's pretty close.
Yeah.
I don't keep too much track of the time usually, but I kind of assume it's somewhere around there. This piece being as thin as it is, you can see it cools off remarkably fast. But sometimes, you know, that's just the reality of it. There's other times I pull out a piece of hot steel, I might have 2 minutes to work it at the anvil because the piece is, you know, 1.5 inch diameter, solid square bar or something. And I've got it up to a nice bright yellow when I pull it out. So there are times when it's not this quick right here.
I'm keeping the camera pointed at the anvil so I can catch when he hits it again.
This particular project, this leaf keychain, is something that I'd say probably more of these have been made in this blacksmith shop than anything over the 116-year history. Because the last 14 years this shop has been reopened. This was the main project that our old master blacksmith enjoyed to produce each day. So I started making my own version of this a couple months back. And this is where I am on it right now.
What was the older blacksmith's name?
Doc. Doc Cudd was the blacksmith here for many years.
Is he still alive, or did he retire?
He's still alive. He just retired. Yeah, he retired about 2.5 years ago.
Ah.
You were here, you met me, what, last summer you were here?
Yeah, 2017.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing this for about a year at that point. I've been at it a little more than 2 years now, full time. But
Well, I can tell you're still as good as you were then.
I'm glad I'm not going backwards. I appreciate that.
Hey, if you can't go backwards, you can only go one way. That's forwards.
That's true. It's good. It's kind of fun to look over the months at the work and see it change, you know. Those roses, I mean, now that I make them, the ones I made a year ago, I look at and I go, ooh, those are rough looking, you know.
It's like my film. It's like I need to improve on it.
If you do it enough, it seems like you can't help but make it better, you know.
I was contemplating on bringing that one you gave to me back and see if you could try and finish it.
Oh, yeah. Next time you'll have to.
I may. You never know, though.
If you feel like it, bring it on back.
It's not that if I feel like it, I just need to remember.
I can't help you on that, I guess.
I'm pretty sure I remember.
Right now, I'm just rounding off the corners a little bit. I want to make this stem of the leaf look a little more natural. Just chamfering the edges to achieve that and get it down to a real fine point out on the end.
Well, I'll say this, if I had been recording just this, you making essentially a nail, I don't think it would have taken very long.
Yeah, the nails, unfortunately, it's kind of the boring part, but I'm ready for the fun part, because now that I got enough stock, I can actually make the loop here.
And that's to bend it.
So you'll get a sense of just how soft the steel really is these next couple heats. I mean, going to the horn of the anvil, you'll see, you haven't seen much blacksmith, and one reason why the anvil's shaped this way is for anytime I'm making like a link of chain, or a hook, or a horseshoe, that's all taking place for the most part on the horn. And so, you know, the anvil hasn't always been this shape, but the last few hundred years it's become kind of the standard anvil shape that we know in the Western world anyways.
Now, when this one runs out, essentially, or gets used up, could y'all actually be able to contract a steel foundry to try and make a new anvil?
You know, that's a good question, but we probably would, if I wore this anvil out, which, if I'm here when I'm 90 years old, this anvil might be a little worn down by then, but probably not, considering it's been used on and off for 116 years already. But
well,
what we would do is, just like this anvil actually, for example, is not original to this blacksmith shop's history, but this one was made back in 1902. But now this anvil here was originally in this shop 100 years ago. So we don't use that anvil to work on anymore. It's kind of just here to be preserved. But there are a lot of good anvils still out in the world. So if I wore that one out, I'd go find another old anvil that looks like it and bring it in here.
You want to know something? There's a plantation near Washington, Wilkes, Georgia, and they had a blacksmith shop, but I've never been to the plantation, and so I never knew that blacksmith was there, and it's also one that's still used.
Cool.
I think they had, 5 or 6 anvils in that thing.
Whoa, that's a nice collection.
I don't know if all of them were used, though. That's the thing.
Anvils are getting kind of expensive, so a lot of people...
It's because of how rare they're getting now.
Yeah, it's true, right? They're getting harder to find, and that's a big part of it.
Unless you contracted one of the few remaining massive steel mills to cast a new one.
Yeah.
Which I don't know it would be exactly in really good quality now, though.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, most people like the old ones because they know the steel and iron was good and right, you know. And
well, then again, you can't buy parts for an anvil. It's one solid cast, so.
A lot of them are. That's right. Look.
I mean, yeah.
Like this forge right here, you know, all cast pieces. I mean, this is made in 1897 and still working quite well here in the shop.
So 1997 would have made it 100 years old.
It's time to put some color on this piece.
The brass.
The brass. Yeah, let's put the brass back on it. You notice that brass that was on it melted off pretty quick when it went back in the fire.
I'm surprised in the bottom of the forge there isn't like just a layer of brass or or any other metals in the bottom that you could salvage.
I guess it must dissipate so much or something. I don't know where it goes, but it must be such a trace amount of it.
I don't know if my camera is able to pick up the transfer of the brass, but you never know.
Catch some of that light there. It sure gets a nice shine to it pretty quick.
The thing is, when I zoom in, the camera gets blurred. The image gets blurred. Like now, I can see it. And now I can see the brass getting transferred. Of course, I like the... I do like the rows.
See how that brass is transferred over to the steel. Just give us a little highlight on the leaf.
So you make these to sell in the shops here? Or?
Yeah. So this is
wow.
one of the things.
I've
been sold out for a few days, so I'm trying to catch up on this little piece here. But some days I make things for the gift shop, and other days I'm making stuff for fixing things for Biltmore, custom orders and such.
Yeah.
Kind of like where you were telling them a year ago about that lantern that your mentor made, and you were surprised at just how accurate he made it, that you couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, there was a chandelier that fell on the Biltmore house about 10 years ago, and the guy that trained me, he had to rebuild it. Biltmore asked him to fix it. Well, Doc said it took him like 10 months to fix that chandelier. I think he was so meticulous. That's why it looks exactly like the originals, because you would never know it's not an original piece, you know.
Well, then again, you don't really know if there is any like blueprints for it.
Yeah, there wasn't. You know, that's the thing, is he had to build it off of kind of like pictures of the originals. So.
Or memory.
Yeah, I'm sure part of it was he's got a good visual brain of kind of remembering what he saw. That's a big part of it.
So, what are you fixing to forge now since you got the leaf done?
Well, I'm trying to think, but take a look real quick. It's on my supply. Oh, you know, I know what I ought to do. There's a little...
That bar you put underneath the forge there.
Which bar? Oh yeah, I got some 3/8 down there. I think this one, this is a nice long piece of 3/8 with a leaf on the end. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this leaf off. And I'm gonna do something out of this segment right here. This is one of my favorite leaves I've made in a few days. That one's a good size and shape. Sometimes they just really stand out to me. I like the balance of them, because sometimes when you unfold them, one side gets kind of like too high or too low. But this one just kind of folded out nice on me.